The choice may not be clear. You may have to go to the poll and temporarily hold your nose. Cast a vote, okay? We talk a lot about the national election, all right? A lot about that. But how about local elections? Mayors. Could you imagine here in Maine if the majority of the mayors across this state were born again men and women of God? The impact that that would have on this state? Would it have an impact? How about your city council, county commissioner, school boards? Could you imagine if the majority of the school boards across this state were controlled by men and women of God? Would that have an impact? Now, when I say get on school boards, I'm talking about men and women who got some guts. We need people on the school board who will stand up and say no. And we need to have the majority of the school board, so when you say no, the majority stands and say no. And that's what's got to take place. Now listen to me. Every one of you here probably could run for something and win. You say, well, Franklin, I've got a full-time job. I don't have time for this. You think the school boards meet every night? No. But they meet in the evening for a few hours. Can you give a few hours for your children and grandchildren? Of course you can. Look how important this is. And some of you, God may, as I'm speaking right now, God may be talking to you right now. I need to do something like this. I need to run for that. Look for people in your community that you can get behind, okay? That you could say to yourself, that person over here would make a good county commissioner. That person here would make a good mayor. It's estimated in the last presidential election, 20 to 30 million evangelical Christians did not vote. 20 to 30 million. And I've had people say to me, Franklin, my vote doesn't count. Oh, really? I'll guarantee it counts. You say, well, Franklin, it's rigged. They try to rig it some places. They do. But if we get enough people to turn out, they can't rig that. If 20 to 30 million stay home, they don't have to rig nothing because we lose by not going. But if we can get 20 to 30 million Christians this year to go back to the polls so that their voice, the Christian voice in this country, is heard, let me tell you, it can make a difference in this country for years to come. And elections are not lost by millions of votes. Remember in 1974 in New Hampshire, John Durkin, a Democrat, was against Lewis Wyman, Republican. On election day, Wyman won by 355 votes out of 200,000 cast. They had to have a recount. Durkin won by 10 votes. Well, that sounds like maybe some shenanigans, but I don't know. Second recount, Wyman wins by 2 votes. It was called the closest election in U.S. history, and they had to have a runoff race a few months later, and Durkin won by 27,000 votes. Now, in Minnesota in 2008, Al Franken, Democrat, against incumbent Norm Coleman, Republican. Franklin was declared winner by 255 votes. I'm just here to tell you, friends, your vote counts. It counts. And you see, the enemy isn't at the gate. The enemy's already here. He's come through the gate. Because we've left the gates wide open and we've allowed our moral walls to deteriorate and to fall down. Don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. Vote. You go to the polls and get your mama, you get your daddy, get your granddaddy, you get your children if they're of age. Now don't go to the graveyard and start doing that kind of stuff. Plenty of people do that, but we ain't going to do that because we represent the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But you take your family, make sure everybody's registered, everybody, and you go and vote as God leads you, okay? You see, our job, ladies and gentlemen, as Christians, is to make the impact of Christ Jesus Christ felt in every phase of life. Religious phase, social, economic, political. But we must not do it in our own strength or wisdom. We can only do it as we surrender ourselves completely to God, allowing Him to work through us. Go back to your homes. Go back to your communities to be an advocate for God's truth, for His righteousness, and let's elect men and women to office who will lead this nation back to really being one nation under God that can truthfully say once again, "In God we trust." Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out here today. Thank you for signing that pledge. Go back home. Become that community organizer, that activist for God's truth. Thank you for being here today. God bless you. Love you. Thank you. Thank you all.